Welcome to Business Mentorship, Keeping It Real, where we feature entrepreneurs and enterprise leaders who share their great ideas in our guest blog, found on shareyourstories.online. Our guest is Laurel Crossley, a speaker and adult educator who started a wellness company supporting women and children during COVID. We're going to discuss light bulb moments and the courage it takes to start something new. And Laurel joins us from Stony Creek, Ontario. Welcome.
Hello.
You know, we've all heard the saying, necessity is the mother of invention, right?
Oh,
and
yes.
I have a feeling based on your story that you started the little wellness company based on exactly that premise.
Well, yes, through a series of highly traumatic events, losses, moving, illness, potentially life-threatening illness, my business went meow. I think that's the musical sound for
That's the soundtrack.
Wipeout. Wipeout, whatever that song. I think there was a song called Wipeout.
Yes, there was.
Right. And so, I was so busy taking care of everybody else's needs in crisis. It was COVID. I couldn't get access to resources. It wasn't that I couldn't get access to it, but when you're in that post-trauma zone and you're just living second to second. So I literally couldn't even get to how do I support my own wellness. It was emergency after emergency after emergency after emergency. And you're just going on the fly.
Right.
There's no forethought. There's no afterthought. There's just, I got to do this right now. This is where I'm needed and what's necessary. And so not thinking about that, I came out of these crises and I just thought, I'm not alone. I've had my coaching practice for close to 30 years. And I knew when parents, when families, when individuals were in crisis, they couldn't wrap their head around, where do I go? Who do I need to connect with? So I was sitting in my beautiful garden, which you've come and visited, and it's a little magical and a little spiritual. Okay, it's a big bit magical. It's a big bit spiritual.
I was just going to say, I think you need to change that little to big, but okay.
Yeah. Well, people were joking with me, when you start your company, why are you calling it Little Wellness Company? It should be the biggest wellness company ever invented by Laurel.
Love it. Well, now you've answered my question about why did you call it the Little Wellness Company? So there you go.
Well, in reality, it's because, I'm on the shorter side. And I know that people always remark, wow, you're so little, but you're so powerful. You're so mighty. And I'm like, that we got to get rid of the thought process that little or big is indicative of success or not success. It's all about, have you got the vision? Have you got a mission? Great, gun for it, as I say. Right. And so that's what happened. I was sitting in this beautiful reflective state and I went, it's time for me to put on my big person sparkly purple pants, because that's what I imagine. Probably have suspenders. So flip those on. And you know what? Take that dream, take that vision of starting this wellness collaborative and just go for it. So last year I started with one person, me. And this year we're at 17 individuals who are supporting this collaborative.
That's fantastic. So tell me, do you think what's the difference between confidence and courage? Because I do think you need both in different parts to start something new. And this is obviously a bit of a departure for you from your speaking business. So which one do you think came first? Confidence or courage?
Oh, wow. That's a pretty profound question. Confidence to me is wrapped up in that spiritual sense of self, right? It is, I think, I don't even know if it's courage that I have or if it's laser focus.
Right.
And I don't care about anybody else. And I've always done this. If I want something, I just sort of
clear the way
and go, okay, who do I need to connect with? Is this going to make me happy? And I don't think about the courage it takes. I don't reflect on that. So for me, it's not, but confidence, absolutely, because I started off life as a very nervous, shy, very shut down kid, to the point where teachers used to say, "Can you speak up more in class?" And now people can't shut me up.
Now you've gone the absolute opposite, right?
Gone the opposite, because I was this little human who had people had pigeonholed me as, she's shy, she's small. I would sometimes I would get lost in like class photos, and they'd say, "Hey, kid at the back,
Where is Laurel?
come down here." you know and so I recognized I had a lot of big thoughts and big thinking and big ideals, but I was in this little tiny package.
Right.
And so it's matching my this sounds really inappropriate, but matching my package with my voice.
But you know what I love though is that you've done it as a collaborative. You use the word collective and you use the word collaborative to describe the Little Wellness Company. So how do you connect with the people that you're collaborating with? Because your business model is you provide folks with the resources that they need to share with their audience. So how do you make the connections between the people that you're collaborating with?
Well, that's really interesting. So I think I have a Rolodex in my brain. Remember a Rolodex? Those good
Yes,
old
I
fashioned.
do.
And I always
It used
envision,
to you
yep,
could flip it, right?
that's exactly it, in that sound, that, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
but I collect people,
Okay.
and I know that I'm going to be working with them. I just don't know the timing. So a lot of
Right.
this is highly intuitive. We talk about women's intuition, we talk about gut instinct, we talk about business intuition. And I think for those of us who have these big visions, we're very much operating on what's the messaging today.
Right.
When you sit in that quiet reflection, the content comes. And sometimes I'll be on Facebook and somebody will pop up and I go, "Of course." Sometimes I'll be on LinkedIn and someone will go, "Oh, tra la la." And, our mutual connection, I met her a few years ago and I connected with her and I said, "You have to be part of this collaborative." And she said, "Absolutely." And so she's been introducing me to all of these people. So it's there's the vision, and then there's the intuition, and then I just know who's right. It's got to be the right
Right
energy.
fit. Right. Right.
Right? And they
Yeah.
have to be heart-centered. There are a lot of people out there doing similar types of businesses as the people in my collaborative, but it's not a heart-centered business.
Right.
It is very much, what's the bottom line? Who can I connect with? How can I make cash? Like, they're very bottom line driven. I need them to be heart driven first and foremost. And bottom line follows heart.
So I have an interesting question for you because, I can tell you from my own experience, I've not always been heart centered. Perhaps that was the second layer under my objective when I, like you, started my first company 30 years ago in 1993. But I'm going to ask, do you have a business plan for the Little Wellness Company? Because, as females in business, we have these wonderful ideas, we have these big visions, but at some point in time, we have to put pen to paper. So is there a business plan for the Little Wellness Company at this point? Or are you still working on the heart-centered energy to collect the people that are going to help you explode your message in the market?
Well, that's a great question, because I am the queen of I can't stand traditional business plans.
I knew it. I knew
Who
it.
invented the business plan, and what was the purpose and intention behind the business plan?
I think it was for bankers when you were trying
Yes,
to get money, right? And most of
right.
us start our businesses with what, call it what you like, love money, a family investment, our own, savings that we sort of pour into the business. So not always are we looking for the traditional financing model, right?
That's
So
right. And so a few thousand years ago, I created something. Oh, I'd forgotten about this, and it's sitting in a file folder. I created a heart-centered business model.
wow.
And I'm going to pull it out because, again, I data dump
Yeah.
content as I created in my mind. And a colleague of mine said, "This is phenomenal. You have to do something with this. You have to trademark it. You have to register. You have to do something." Now, I've seen heart centered businesses, but I haven't seen a heart centered specific business model.
No.
The other thing that I am is I love storyboarding.
Hmm.
So for me, a business plan would, in my mind, looks more like a storyboard.
Right.
And it's funny because I sit down. I used to teach how to start a small business, right? And it was very much at the end, the product was a business plan. I've got that template. I go in all the time and try and fill it out, and I'm like, I am so unmotivated with
Right.
this.
Right.
So I think for me, I focus on the different areas and I create the objectives for the different quarters. And then I just notice, okay, did I make my objectives? No. Okay, what do I have to refine? Because
Right.
the other thing with a business plan is it's an ever evolving
Sure. For
document.
sure. It's supposed to be, right?
Right. But most of us create one because we're going to apply for financing and then we shove it in a drawer
Yeah.
and we don't ever look at it again.
Right.
And it may or may not be relevant to when you started your business in the first place.
Right.
So, if you're a smart business owner, then you are absolutely going to have that evolution. Your
Sure.
business is not stationary. It's just like wellness. Wellness is not stationary. Every day
Right.
every second you need something different.
Right. Right. So tell me the 17 individuals that are now part of your collaborative or collective, if you had to describe one similarity in their personalities, what would it be besides heart centered? So is there a specific kind of quality, or is there a certain dynamic of that individual that is attracted to you and your business model?
I think it's belief in the vision that I want to support. I think every individual on this planet deserves to feel well, no matter their socioeconomic status,
Yeah.
no matter whether they're male, female, or identify as something completely different. I think everyone deserves wellness and they deserve it in such a way that within, a few minutes, they have supports that can help them move beautifully along their life's path. And that's what people believe in. They feel the same way. Right now, in our organizations, in our businesses, in our corporations, in our systems, we have a lot of unwell people.
True.
A lot of unwell people. And let's just speak specifically to Canada because that's where we live. And, I'm getting notification that people can't get access to resources even though they're in crisis. Yes, there are some crisis hotlines, absolutely, but consistent, undivided, specific content to support their life path, there are huge wait lists. And so all of the people that are in this business, in this collaborative, understand that we can deliver fast and furious. We're not holding back.
You know what I love is that we all have a toolkit that, has evolved through time and through our personal and professional journey. And sometimes these things are really simple things. But I find what we need is the one-to-one human connection in order to remind us of some of the tools that we may have used, but we've lost them, or we've forgotten about them, or we've shoved them to the back of the shelf because they weren't important at the time. So sometimes all it takes is a wonderful conversation with someone to remind us of some of the practical things that we can do. So what I love about the Little Wellness Company is that you're providing access through the human connection.
Absolutely. And think about what we've just been through.
Right.
Isolation after isolation after isolation.
Absolutely.
Seriously, I feel like I'm a butterfly now because we can go out and I feel like I've emerged from a 3-year cocoon,
Yeah.
and now I'm out flying, fluttering around, meeting people. Like, look at you and I, we just met, and that's what I feel like. And I feel that everybody deserves to feel this way
Absolutely.
on their own terms. Not everybody
Yep.
wants to be a butterfly. Some of you want to be a cicada. I get that.
Yep. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, whatever it is that you want to be, you just want to help them achieve that particular goal or have that wonderful feeling. Because I mean, let's face it, the whole premise of life is we want a sense of belonging, we want to be loved, and we want to know that somebody's got our back. We don't want to be alone. We want to make sure that there's some sort of connection. And so if you're providing that wonderful connection through the little wellness company to be able to say, you know, I'm okay, you're okay, and we're going to give you that sort of envelope you with the tools that you need and give you that cyber hug so you can get to where that you want to be. Who doesn't want to participate in that, to be quite honest?
Absolutely. And, you know, I just received, it was a Saturday night. I received a text from a parent whose child had experienced profound losses, 2 profound losses, very almost back to back. And I haven't talked to this woman in years, and she said, "You're the one I know that can help me." So it was Saturday night, so I just left it alone, and then Sunday I got up and I said, "Okay." Or maybe it was Sunday night. I can't remember the timing of it. And I got resources within 5 to 7 minutes for this mother, for her child. And she sent me a text. I'm sitting at the dining room table with my husband, and it was so beautiful. I started to cry. So my husband thinks it's something horrible has happened.
You're right. Yeah. That's our
And I
automatic
said,
reaction.
right. And so I read it to him and he said, "Oh, great. Now I'm all teary eyed." So, you know, this is the beauty of this. This is the power of this connection, of this, it's acknowledgement and connection and community. And if we go back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like some of our basic needs are not being met,
I couldn't agree more.
you know? And so come on.
Yeah.
We live in Canada, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
should have food. Everybody should have clean water. Everybody should have beautiful
Shelter.
housing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
not a
absolutely.
mansion, but housing. You
Yeah,
know,
for sure.
and we don't. We just don't.
Listen, I absolutely love that you've taken that leap of faith, Laurel. You've combined the confidence and the courage, and you've thought of something that's outside the box. And one of the things that we do in the guest blog is we ask folks to share 3 words of advice. And your 3 words are: be patient, be yourself, and be kind. So why don't you share with our viewing and listening audience how that phrase sort of summarizes the Little Wellness Company?
Well, first of all, I am the most impatient person on this earth. And as I was going through building this business, I was really struggling personally. And a very dear friend of mine who's part of the collaborative said, "You garden, right?" And I said, "Yes." And she said, "Think about what you have to do to get a particular plant to grow."
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "You know, you have to plant it, you have to water it, you have to give it the right sunshine. Sometimes it needs to be moved or relocated." I said, "Well, before that, we need to make sure the soil's okay.
Right.
And the climate's okay."
Yep.
And so she said, "So we all know in the collaborative what you're doing. We know your vision. We are very patient. You need to be patient with yourself. We are in a society of instant gratification. And when you're focused on your vision, you can't have instant gratification. You are building, building, building,
Yeah.
building."
Yeah.
And, you know, if I know entrepreneurs who had a multi-million dollar contract handed to them immediately. And the problem is they have to race back and figure out all their systems and figure out, you know, I don't know how to handle this kind of work. So building that, being patient, building that momentum. So be yourself. Oh, sweet niblets. Here we are.
Isn't that the truth, though?
Oh my gosh. Social media has, can I say this without getting into trouble? Kardashianed the heck out of
Well,
social
we've
media.
sexed it up, right?
Yes,
We've sexed it up.
that's right. And so what we see is not necessarily what's actually happening.
Right.
And so we have to really consider who we are. And is this representation of who we are truly what's important to us? I have always been passionate about wellness, and I attribute that to being involved with an Indigenous business where we were talking about the importance of life balance at the time, was the buzzword of mind, body, and spirit, and what does that look like, and our connection to nature. So those have absolutely been part of this. So that's why the Little Wellness Company is now is it's me.
Right.
I'm being myself. And the last one, be kind. You never know who's next to you in a lineup, who you're going to connect with. My kids are highly embarrassed because I talk to everybody and everybody
Sounds
talks to
familiar.
me, right? But you just don't know who that person is,
Yeah.
despite how they're dressed, despite how they're presenting, despite anything. Be kind and be human and treat others as if they're human. And, I'm hypersensitive to other people's energies. And so, I can look at someone and ascertain whether or not they're struggling. And sometimes I'll ask questions and people will just zip right into a cry mode. And I say, you know what? It's okay. I'm
Yeah.
holding space for you to allow you to release that, that energy right now because you need an opportunity to do that. So, really be kind and don't judge.
That's such a wonderful way to end our conversation, Laurel, because I think that isn't that what we're all really looking for? We're all questioning where we're going, where we've been, and what the future looks like. And I think if anyone takes anything away from our conversation today, I would love for it to be kind, for sure.
Awesome.
So thank you so much for joining me and sharing your wisdom and a few chuckles along the way. And I know that the folks in our viewing and listening audience will be reconnecting and connecting with the folks in the Little Wellness Company.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
It's been a pleasure. To you, our viewing and listening audience, I'd like to thank you for joining us in this edition of Keeping It Real, where we introduce you to the person behind the logo. I'm Trish Tonai, founder and host for the series. And if you're interested in sharing your business story, visit our website at shareyourstories.online. Thanks again for joining us, and we look forward to meeting you next time when we share another great idea.